Happy New Year. I've been tasked by my wife to get to work on the pond project out the front, building up around the bottom edge of it to help it to stop losing water, and so that we can end up putting a recirculating pump in there. And in order to do that, I need to get concrete. I was going to buy concrete bags the other day when I went down to Bunnings, but it started raining, and I thought I don't want to go putting concrete bags in the back of the truck if there's going to rain on it. That being said, it just started raining on me now. I'm glad I've got a tarp in the back seat, so I might have to wrap the concrete bags down there. This will be my first time, I think, actually driving in to the new trade section of Bunnings down here, the new building. Every time I've gone in, I've just gotten small items or things that I can carry out to the truck. Sorry, that's the second police car I've seen just coming down here. They usually do a lot of mobile speed camera things around New Year's or around the holidays. You'd better watch my speed, I think. It's only 80 around this highway, but it's very easy to roll over 80 when you hit the downhill slopes. Quite unfortunately, it's usually where the police will set themselves up with a speed gun at the bottom of a hill, but a lot of times they'll drive around with mobile guns. I really don't know how they work when they're driving at the same time, but I guess if you're going in the same direction, if you're heading away from them or they're trying to keep up with you, they know how fast you're going. They usually use the unmarked cars for doing that, and it's really hard to spot an unmarked car now because they'll use any model, any colour. Hyundai, BMW, Toyota. They'll use anything. Hatchbacks, sedans. I think I saw them in one of those Chrysler 300s the other day. Utes, SUVs. Unless you're really close to them and you see the equipment inside the windscreen, it's hard to spot them. Sometimes they'll have lights, like their little red and blue lights, but they'll be tiny things like this just next to the rear license plate or on the back sill of the window or just in the grill. You might just spot them, but an unmarked car is really hard to spot now, especially when you're just driving around. So obey all the road rules and you'll be fine, won't you? Anyway, going down to get some concrete. I need to get some bondcrete as well to help mix with it so that it bonds to the sandstone. I'll be using some of the Rio mesh that I've already got. I'll drill some holes into the sandstone to do that, and then I'll have to do pond lining stuff after that. So this is where I'm going to be working. Basically from about here and here to maybe there. I just need to make a small wall on the other side or underside of the mondo grass. To prevent all the water from leaking away. So I'm going to have to dig this out, get down to the rock so I can put the concrete along here and then paint the pond liner in. So the area is prepped. You can see all the mondo grass just sitting out at the side. It will go back in the same spot, but you can see the edge of the pond now. I'm going to be drilling some holes in on that, putting the Rio in, and then packing cement around that once I mix it up. This will be the biggest bit because there's a giant dip here, and I'm going to need a fair bit of cement there to fill in it because that's dirt. But I need to have like a wall and still leave room for the mondo grass to be put back in. So that's the next step.
got my mesh in. Basically drilled some holes down into the sandstone. Just some Rio snaking along the edge of this stone. I don't want to go down into this area because this is where all the mondo was growing. So that'll all get planted back into that. But I'll just end up making a little wall of concrete. It's obviously got to be high because of the drop here. And this is where a lot of it flows out. So I'll have a decent sized wall in just there. And the mondo will go back in behind it. I'll get some more rocks to sit behind here too. Okay, I've just primed the area with bondcrete, bondcrete is kind of like a PVA, and you just dilute it. I think it was 1 to 4, so you can paint it on, and it basically will help the concrete to attach to it, and I'll end up mixing some of it in with the concrete as well. Just got to go and check the ratio for that. But my concrete's not going to be a very wet mix. It's going to be fairly dry, and I might put the sandstone colouring into it too. And here's my little cement fake sandstone surround. When the mondo grass goes back in, it will pretty much cover a lot of this. Like this big chunk of mondo grass here went right into there, so I'm going to have to cut it back. But I'll get the mondo grass to grow over it so it's not so conspicuous type thing, and it'll just become a way of keeping this pond full. This is the bottom section of the arch that my wife bought. It's upside down at the moment. It's, to go up near the front gate, and because of the slope of the land, we want this bit to be level with the landing, and I've had to put some of this 16mm Rio into each one. That was the one that fit in, and I tried originally spot welding it, but this was just too thin and was just melting away, especially for the welder I've got. I tried drilling a hole and tapping a screw into the Rio, and even drilling into the Rio to pre-tap it. That didn't work. It was snapping off in the Rio. So I thought I'll use some liquid nails or construction adhesive, and I did this one as the test, since this was the leg I was playing with, and glued it in yesterday, and when I came out this morning it was still soft and wasn't moving, and I thought it was a big failure, and now it's like rock solid in the afternoon, not moving anywhere. So I went ahead and glued the other 3 in. They're different lengths, you can see, because of the slope of the land. And then I've got some 10mm Rio just to go through this piece, which is skinnier. It'll just basically sit inside this tube down to where this one touches, and then go up into the base of the top section of the frame, and serve to help hold it all together a little bit more securely. Add a little bit of weight so it won't blow around so much if the wind blows. So that'll be something to test out tomorrow, or to assemble tomorrow. How you doing? Eh? Is that your youngster? Ready? You dropped it. I thought you were all friends. Heard a noise in the laundry, and I thought we had a rat in there. So I snuck around and heard rustling in a shopping bag, and this is what I found. Giant cricket. So I'm going to go let him go. I think he's a bit happier now. Don't know how he fell in here, but he's huge. And there you go, compare him to my fingers. He's huge. A lot of rain yesterday, or last night, and so as we can see with the new wall in here, I'll have to get in there and just check water levels. But you can see that all the water from here is just making one big pool now. That one's not quite coming through. That one is sort of lipping up into there, so I think if that gets more it would spill this way, but I'm not sure exactly how far. And I know the end one would just run out into the front, but that's not a big deal. All of this flows down into here. Unfortunately, I only got one coat of that pond paint, the light sandstone colour you can see, along the joins. It's better than nothing. But it'll be interesting to see how long this sort of sits in here, especially this bottom section.